It's time to flutter about the world of Super Mario 3D Land. Grab your Tanuki suits and glide toward the goal in this awesome Mario adventure. Stay hydrated, people. It's important. I appreciate you. Heart. So we're going into World 2, not 1, not 3, not 4, 2 of Super Mario 3D Land on the Nintendo 3DS. Do you understand? It's called 3D Land because you play the game in 2D. My name is 3D O'Brien, the number 18 Mario Galaxy aficionado in the tri-state area between California, Connecticut, and South Attleboro. So I have been playing quite a bit of Mario these past couple of days, which I am not aggravated about at all. I'm actually very, very psyched, very hyped about that. The P Block does a little bit of music, song and dance situation here, which may result in, it's just a thing there, just a mushroom, which is fine. But it's also not fine to have me have to get up, change the camera, because I'm recording so much that I still haven't figured out what I'm doing here. So, yep, that happens. You would think I'd have it all figured out by now, but I totally do not. So, oops. There has to be some sort of setting or something to, like, figure out what I'm actually doing here. But, oh well, it's fine. It's fine. All right? And I'm just making sure I didn't miss out on any coins here. Because, yeah, you don't need to get all of them. But, you know, just as the idea to do it there. 3D time, all right. So, I need to go over here, yes, no. Need to go over here, yeah, there we go. So you can kind of tell where you need to go from this point here. It's kind of obvious a little bit. There's your perspective there, just so you can see exactly what you're doing. So in case you, okay, nice. So in case you actually have a lazy eye, that does not help your situation at all. I'll talk about that in a second once I actually grab this medal here. Please. Why is that not working? Hello? Yeah. Okay. Well, plot twist, ladies and gentlemen. I have a lazy eye, so that's what I'm talking about. There we go. All right. Back to normal there. So, a lazy eye is a thing that some people have, which basically means that your... Okay, cool. Your eye is lazy. It means that it's, like, detached from the mechanism that causes your eye to move, I think. So, basically what it means, like, what it actually results in is nothing, you know, you can see perfectly fine. Like, you can see stuff. It's not like you're blind. Like, you're fine. But when you look at someone who has a lazy eye, their eyes aren't necessarily centered, I guess, would be the most correct way to say it, probably. So, I have that. So, if you looked at me, it actually depends on whether or not I've slept recently and a couple other factors. So, like, when I stare directly into the camera, and I have my glasses off, I don't know if you can tell right now, but, like, when I'm looking at the camera, I should be looking directly straight. Both of my eyes should be totally straight, right? But one of my eyes, the right one of them is off a little bit here. So, basically, so the over-exaggeration of that is if one of my eyes went, like, totally this way, and another eye went that way, or one eye was looking straight and the other eye was, like, totally looking in the wrong direction, which I've seen people who have that before. And they have totally normal vision, or at least as normal as it can possibly be. And, you know, oh, there's 3D. Look at that. It's 3, and it's D. It's 3D. You know, they can see totally fine. It's just a thing. It's just a visual thing, you know, and it kind of looks weird for other people that are watching you, but it doesn't really matter. You can still see fine. So, that happens to me, and sometimes when you're viewing things in 3D, and in general, it can mess up your vision because you're like, I'm not registering what I'm seeing properly because of my depth perception being off. Now, my depth perception is fine. Mine is not really off as much as it is for other people. especially considering I just fell into a poison block right there. Oops. But it's not really that bad. It usually impairs you like when you're driving and doing stuff like that. Like it can really get in the way and really be a nuisance. But not for me. No, it's fine. Now, if you want to see an example of that, in an actual famous person, Jason Momoa, Aquaman, he has a lazy eye. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. If you have it, definitely not, because... so I actually was kind of hyper-paranoid about it for like a little while, because I realized, I'm like, wait, why is one of my eyes off? This is weird. But I realized, like, hey, you know, if Jason Momoa, if Aquaman, if this guy from Game of Thrones can have this lazy eye and still get like an acting gig and stuff like that, what do I have anything to worry about, you know? That's why it's good to have some, actually, not some, like a lot of representation between, you know, a bunch of different disabilities, whatever it is, visual or otherwise, in Hollywood and all that, you know, because usually with, like, Hollywood, it's like, oh, you have to be the most perfect person ever to get this job or this thing, and it's like, well, no, that's not the case, because, you know, not everyone's perfect in any capacity, so that's just my thing. And that's just a long tangent to say, like, hey, you know, sometimes the 3D doesn't actually work out because you can't see stuff properly, and that's okay, you know? So that's why it helps to have it in 2D and all that. And the real bulk of what I wanted to talk about for this video here was not the fact that I didn't get the flagpole at the top, or did I get all 3 of the star coins there. I wanted to talk about cake. Because I haven't really talked about food in a while, which is kind of shocking, you know? I love food, man. Food is great, and I've had this inkling to talk about cake because I went to my friend's birthday party yesterday. My friend Brittany turned 25. She now has her AARP card. She is retired. Yeah, she's basically done for. It's all said and done at this point. But she turned 25, and... there were 3 cakes that were there for her. Now, she is not a cake aficionado. It's not like, you know, she's not me. I enjoy some good cake. But cake needs to be done very well or very not well. You know, there's really no in between for the cake, you know. So you may try to, like, guess what type of cake is best for me. Can I go down on here? I can't. Okay, cool. Just making sure. Sometimes it's like, no, you can't. And then I end up fainting, and it's all bad. Oh, this thing is cool. This allows you to fly around. It's pretty sweet. Basically, get a little extra boost of a jump there. It's pretty cool. Just hold it down there, and you're good. So that kind of shows the 3 dimensions of what the M for Mario could be like there. So that's pretty sweet. And we get really nothing from that, but that's okay. Can I get a... No? No, Wait, actually... There we go. That didn't do anything. I thought that was going to cause that to activate there, but no. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I got the star medal coin if I ended up getting it there. So you can also follow the shadow. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, follow the shadow at the very bottom right here to make sure that you get to where you want to go. So yeah, she's not a big cake person. I am the cake guy of a lot of my friends here. I want to make sure the cake is good. And there is I just want to put it out there for all of you, because a lot of you may not know the ins and outs of what makes a good cake. Because there were 3 cakes at this party that was there, you know, last night. And there was also, like, you know... All right, I'm going to go into a whole rant, all right? Hopefully you don't mind. I don't know why you would mind, but just in case, you know? So, I definitely missed out on one of the medals too, but that's totally fine, because whatever. But I should have, like, spun it on that other thing back there. Yeah, but it's okay. And, yep, there we go. Nice. Or actually, maybe not. Whatever. So, for food, when you have a gathering, right? When you have people together, you have friends, co-workers, family, you want to make sure you have the best food you possibly can, right? Because life is too short to just serve up cups of water and Cracker Jacks and call that a good time, all right? You got to make sure you feed your people well, you feed your people right, okay? That's not what I wanted to do. Oops. That is the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. But, cool. Oh, I'm all the way back here. Isn't that great? Isn't that just awesome? Well, at least I can zoom all the way through here because I know what to expect and what not to expect. You know, you want to make sure you have good food. You don't want to skimp out on food or desserts or whatever if you can make that happen, right? You don't need to go above and beyond to really have the best food ever. Just make sure it's decent. You know, make sure you have a decent selection of things for all parties involved, right? Now, I love my friends. I love my friends more than a lot of things in this world. My friends don't necessarily know how to play a Mario game properly because he keeps fainting on this one section right here. But my friends are 50-50 when it comes to, like, bringing food / desserts for a gathering of any kind. You know, so I don't like being the leader of, like, a friend group or a situation or anything like that. I don't want to be that guy because I don't need to have control of the situation to have the good time or anything like that. But when it comes to specific things, right, I feel like I can jump on this Goomba, then do this. Let me just glide down here, right? Do this, and then there we go. That's kind of what I wanted to do. All right, so do this, and then yes, sir. There we go. Bada boom. Look at that. That's what I wanted to do. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So I don't need to do all that, right? But what ends up happening is I end up thinking of a lot of the things that should be done when it comes to things like that. You know, what food do we get? Who's baking the cake? Who's bringing soda? Who's whatever, right? I want to make sure that everything is as taken care of as it can possibly be, because that's the kind of person I am. So, my friend Dan, bless his heart, right? Bless Dan. Great guy, tremendous guy, lovely guy, right? He doesn't necessarily think in the same train of thought that I do. So I was like, all right, we should get pizza, because pizza is the most basic thing that you can possibly get for a gathering of any kind. He decided the best thing to do was to get a bunch of burgers out of a bag, which is like, okay, you know, like so it was already sliced up patties of beef and bring them, and you typically cook a burger on a grill. He cooked them on in the oven. So, you know what? So I'm all for working with the circumstances you have in life, right? I'm not going to judge someone because they do or don't have a grill, but, like, you cook burgers on a grill, you know what I mean, man? There's only two ways to cook a burger. You cook it on the George Foreman grill, or you cook them in an actual grill. And there's really not really an in-between, unfortunately. Just like me jumping off the ledge and just trying again. There really is no in-between, because that's just how it is. It just doesn't end up coming out the same way. You can cook them in the oven. It doesn't hit the same way. And not only were the burgers cooked in the oven, these were not some high-quality burgers. We're not cooking some filet mignon over here, right? These are like Stop and Shop / whatever brand burgers. You know, 80% fat, not 80% fat, no. 80% meat, 20% fat. Like, I like my stuff lean. You know, I don't like having this, very fatty meats and whatnot. Try to reduce the amount of fat I have at any given point just because I'm a big guy as it is. But Dan, not so much. So, well, I mean, he's a big guy. But, like, you know, he it's not as on the radar. You know, you got to cook out all that. It's like good tasting fat, but you got to cook it out, man. You just got to cook it out. So, cooked all those, and not even that, but, like, they were all very overdone. So, I don't know. I don't want to assign blame, because I'm not here to play the blame game. But not all of us wanted burgers. The burgers were just kind of there. It was just kind of Dan's idea. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get pizza. And I got pizza, and you know what? And it ended up working out. Not as many people ate pizza, but it's okay because people were like, they didn't know that the burgers were an option. It's okay. You know, it's totally okay. I didn't end up eating the overcooked burgers, but that's a long diatribe leading to the cake, because the cake, you can either get cake that is homemade, store-bought, or bakery. So you can get a cake that's just sitting in the refrigerated section. You can get it. We're not going in here. We don't need to go in the mushroom hut. It's fine. Yeah, the refrigerated section. You can go to a bakery and get a cake commissioned. You can bake a cake yourself. Baking a cake is kind of a 50-50. It's the thought that counts, even if it's a little dry or whatever. I did that for New Year's. The cake was a little bit dry, but it was my first time making a cake ever. And I prefaced that before I even brought it over. I'm like, hey, I don't know how this is going to be, whatever. But, like, the cake that they got were 3 different types of cake, and they were all of the same quality. They were all, like, not bakery cakes. They were, like, these pre-made cakes that were, like, kind of generalized. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't the best thing I've ever eaten ever. And, like, one was, like, a super chocolatey cake. Another one was a vanilla cake that had, like, the very, very, very sugary frosting. The other one had, like, strawberries and whipped cream. That one I didn't have. Because, like, you know, having fruit on cake is a very dicey process. You're either for it or against it, and it's either really good or really bad. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not risking the biscuit today. I don't feel like risking that much of my sanity right now. So I kind of left it be. But instead of getting one really good cake, they got 3 separate cakes that just didn't hit and execute very well in general. And you can just do this to defeat this guy here. But that would be way too easy, because now he's going to bounce all throughout here and try to get me. And he just might. I don't think he will. But yeah, there we go. And then boom, boom. Down another time here. There we go. I think that was the second time. I'm pretty sure. So I will continue the whole cake philosophy here, because there's really an art to it. There's an art to the amount of cake that you should get, and satisfying all parties involved, and making sure you get a good quality cake. But, you know, when you're having a gathering, you got to make sure that you have the right selection for everyone, instead of having the selection that you think is good, but not everyone else is on board for. If that makes any sort of sense, go over here for a one-up. Happens almost every time over here, right? Just so you know. And we have 23 lives. Soon to be 24. Hopefully 24. Yes, 24. By the end of the second world. So we're good, pretty much, hopefully, for the whole game. But you got to think of the people at large, ladies and gentlemen. You can't just get a bunch of bagged meat burgers, toss them in an oven, and overcook them, you know? Your boy BricksOBrian saving the day with the pizza, you know? Because if this person's vegetarian, this person's vegan, etc., you know, a lot of stipulations going on here. All right, World 3 is coming up next for Super Mario 3D Land. And oh boy, another letter of justice. Tanuki Mario not going to be happy at the sight of Bowser and the flying things. Mario. Isn't that great? So we're going to go to World 3 next time I see you. I want to thank you guys and girls for listening, watching, tuning in, and meowing it out with me as always. My name is Brian Saviano, a.k.a. BricksOBrian. See you again next time for Super Mario 3D Land. Peace out. Bye.